Okay, this is the start of um, the podcast. Okay, so my name is Gary, and I'm here with Israel. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Israel. I'm a 2024 Rudd Scholar. I'm at Wichita State. I'm a sophomore, and then I'm studying mechanical engineering.
Yep, and I'm studying aerospace engineering on the pre-med track. I'm a 2022 Red Scholar studying at Wichita State, and we're here to talk about our mentee mentor relationship. And ours is like a little interesting. Do you want to talk about like how like the mentorship works and stuff like that? Because I know you have like your own mentors and stuff.
Yeah, so the way that it worked for us was that we got assigned different mentees at our spring summit, and so pretty much it's going to be your upperclassmen that get assigned incoming freshmen. But I think that's pretty much as simple as it is. I remember, us getting a Quizlet, and then from there they made it fun to see, who ended up being our mentees, and from there we just got their contact information, and we started the different conversations from there with my two mentees.
Yeah, I think they do a good job of like trying to match you up with someone, whether it's like personality, maybe it's like your story that they tell you, or like interest and like major. Because sometimes like people are like, why am I like match up with this person? We're not the same major, but it's maybe because like your guys' story or how you guys like came off in the interview.
Hmm.
So I think Rudd does like a really good job of like trying to match that. Ours is a little different because me and Israel actually met before. Super stellar student, right? So he was competing for DSI, and he wanted to talk to orgs, right? It was
Yeah,
like
because we were able to set like different appointments, and I wanted to specifically talk to organizations that I wanted to be a part of. So I reached out to Injuries Without Borders, and from there, that day of the interviews, that's when I got to meet Gary.
yeah. So I was the vice president. They asked me if I would talk to someone at the time, and that's when I met him, and I was like, oh, such a prim and proper dude. I mean, like he always is. Like he's business casual, and I showed up in a t-shirt and shorts. So obviously, he's always the super like knows how to present himself super well, and I just had like a very good impression of him. And then tell me like your side of the story, like after you left the room.
Yeah, so I had to finish the conversation stuff or whatever,
Hmm.
and then I remember like as I finished the day, I started preparing for the Rudd interview, and I started like looking into it, like researching, looking at all the different scholars, and I saw Gary's face like on the website, and I was like, wait, like I just saw this guy on campus,
Yeah.
and he had given me his number at the time
Mhm.
because I mean, we both like really connected from there, and so that's when I sent him the text of like, oh wait, like I didn't know you're a Rudd scholar because he was so nonchalant about it. He didn't tell
Nonchalant.
me
Yeah, I didn't bring it up.
because he's just that kind of person. He has that humility that he doesn't need to bring up that he's a Rudd scholar. So I appreciated that about him because they wanted to make that clear that he was there just to tell me about EWB. He wasn't there to tell me about himself.
Yeah. So ever since we met there, um, we then met up and we talked about like, or he asked for advice for like the Rudd interview and stuff like that. But uh, Israel's cracked, so he had already had like plenty of scholarships, and he already went farther than I did as a DSI finalist. I only made it as a semi-finalist, so I was like, dude, what am I gonna tell you with interview skills? So I was like, I knew he was gonna be great, and when he told me that like, he had an interview and he was a finalist for Rudd, I was like, oh, I have no doubt that he's gonna be a great Rudd scholar. So um, yeah, that conversation was like pretty straightforward. I was like, dude, I don't have any like real advice for you. Sure, I can sit here and be like, oh, be yourself, blah blah blah, but like that stuff's not going to be
Mm-hmm.
like super useful for you. But I think like our one after your interview, it was actually like right after, so you can like talk about that.
Yeah, I remember. So we had finished all that stuff, my interview, and I wanted to hang out with my girlfriend just because I wanted to talk about her to the experience. So we go to the Fairmount coffee place, and it's right outside of campus. And so we go up there, we're hanging out, and I look to the right, and I see Gary with just helping somebody study with their homework. And I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, like I think that's the guy that's a Rudd scholar, and But the whole time we're just trying to figure out like, should I say hi? Should I not? Is it awkward? And so then I see him, and obviously I don't know how it goes, but I don't know if I point on your shoulder or something like that,
I
or
think I
or
actually
I think
looked
I
up.
wait. I don't know if I waved.
I think I like looked over my shoulder and you waved, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like you're
Yeah,
the yeah. And then that's how we started talking, and then I was like, "You're all dressed up and stuff like that," and then you're like, "Yeah, I literally just had my interview with Rudd," and I was like, "Oh, that's a
yeah,
crazy coincidence to like run into me like legit right after it." So I thought that was super fun, but we kind of got into it. I felt bad for
Jennifer. Yeah.
yeah, I felt bad for your girlfriend and also the person I was helping study because we just started like yapping, like because I forgot why you had asked, but like one of the things I like pride myself on is like giving actual and useful advice and not just like the generic like cut advice. And I think Israel was talking about whether he should go to K State if he gets Rudd. Oh, yes, I remember now. So it was either if I get Rudd, should I go to K State or should I go to WSU on like Coke, DSI? What are the other
Mm-hmm.
ones?
Coke, DSI. I also had like a
You had
national
one
merit
for
one for
okay,
Hispanic,
okay,
and so it just made it super convenient. Like I feel like I had a lot of support in Wichita,
hmm
but we're still considering K State because I wasn't sure, and I wanted to make sure that I gave it the thought that it needed.
yeah. And that's when he asked, and obviously we didn't have the choices like 2022 Rudd Scholars to either go to K State. They weren't part of the foundation yet. And, like realistically, if I went to that school, I don't know if I'd be as good of a Red Scholar. One, just because I'm not connected to the foundation. I'm not driving up here and it's 5 minutes away. And I'm talking to them and the staff and everybody. And also, they're a party school. I think I'm going to be out a lot more. And those are the things I told like Israel. I was like, hey, if you have the self control, I think I talked about this a lot. I was like, if
Mm-hmm.
you have the self control, because I know I don't have the self control, uh, you'll be able to thrive at K State. You'll still struggle to find opportunities and stuff like that. Of course, they have plenty of opportunities, but realistically, there's such a larger student pool compared to like internships, like the ratio. And Wichita State, yes, we have a large student pool, but we're also a whole industry city, so we have plenty of opportunities. And those are the things that like this is probably like 30 minutes 45-minute conversation that me and him are having, and I was just like laying out those things of if he should go to WSU, K-State. And I wasn't trying to sway him in any way. I was like, if I could choose the perfect way, I would go to K-State and still be a good Red Scholar, but I don't think I could do that. So Wichita State was like the best case scenario. And I don't know like what you took away from, because I don't think we ever talked about what you took away from that conversation.
Yeah, I think what I just took away from it was I didn't know who I was gonna be, once I got into college. So I just wanted to play it safe and knew, okay, if I go to Wichita State, like I'm definitely gonna have greater discipline, be able to control myself a lot better, and I think I'll have a better experience overall, just because I'll still be able to be home, be able to just, you know, get all the support that I needed. It's a lot easier, a lot specifically at Wichita State, just because, like you said, it's 5 minutes away. The office is from campus, so it made it really nice. I knew that I could be able to be focused. And I think another important point that you had brought up to me was you can go to K State, have fun, but but you told me you can go to Wichita State, you can be on top of your everything that you're doing, and you can still have fun.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta know where to look.
Yeah.
That's where you said you can still go to these colleges and have fun. Just make sure that you're creating that space so that you can be disciplined and focus. And I think another important point at the time when we were meeting was I had applied to other colleges. I was applying to other colleges out of the state, and I wasn't sure because that was one of the big conversations as well. Was, hey, if one of these outside schools that are from outside of Kansas accepts me, and I found out that I went Rudd, what would you say? What would you recommend to me? And that was probably like the moment where I realized that you're being honest and real with your advice, because you had brought up other situations with other scholars where they had been offered the Rudd scholarship, but then they also got a really sweet deal
Yeah.
of
I
full
had one too.
tuition scholarship
Mm-hmm.
to another university, and You're just telling me, this is what you should weigh in this decision. And I think that was helpful as well because I just wasn't sure. I was it was very unclear what my future was gonna look like. So I just wanted to think and have someone to think with because I know that they had gone through the exact same thing. And I think that's where you
Hmm.
see that seed of the mentorship of they're that person that gets it. They are as ambitious as I am,
Yeah.
already advanced in school, so they know how I will be, how I can be. So it was really nice to meet someone like that, and so it just made the conversation super fun.
Yeah. And him talking about like just like seeing the same person, like I think when I saw you and you like talk about everything, um, of just like the things you're doing and then all the scholarships you were like getting and applying for and all the things that like you were just super involved in, especially in like the Wichita community too. Like that's something I think was like, oh, I think that'd be hard for him to kind of give up and leave. But I was like, oh, this is like what I was like when I was like an incoming freshman. Like I'm ready to go, go, go. And you're still doing that. So like you're still doing like a lot of things where like I've gotten to the stage where I burned out a little. But but yeah, since I saw that like you were so much like me and that I thought I could guide you in a way that like maybe like younger Gary would have done it. I like this is how ours mentorship was a little different because I requested Israel after I found out that he got the scholarship. Usually, how the scholarship works is it's the sophomores, or I guess the freshmen that are gonna be sophomores. They're assigned the new freshmen, so it's just like a 1 year gap. But I'm 2 years older than Israel. But I was just like, I really think like this would be a very very useful like mentorship for both me and him, just because one I can learn from you as well, and I've learned plenty of just like knowing the things to like lead you properly and knowing like how to adapt with like your certain goals too, not just like what I want you to do or
Mm-hmm.
what I think is the best interest for you. It
Yeah.
has to be what the best interest for you is and how I can help you get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that like Rudd got me assigned to him, and yeah, and then now we're officially mentee mentors. But I mean, I think I would have talked to you and helped you with anything. And I think that also goes with like everybody. You don't have to be like mentee mentors to get advice from upperclassmen or anything. It just makes that bridge a little bit easier just because you're kind of like assigned that. And then we have like challenges that like Johnny does and, things like that. So um, that's kind of like how our relationship, that was a long story, but it's a great story of like just how our relationship like organically started, um, and then how it grew into like something that we both like really appreciate, and then like are very like we admire each other a lot. I think, at least I admire him a
Yeah.
lot. I know he started like a lot of things on campus. um, I don't think he struggled as much as other freshmen when it came to like the transition and then also like making an impact on campus. Um, he's such a good Red Scholar. He shows up to all the events. That's a big thing that a lot of Red Scholars need to know, is showing up to events that we put on and stuff just shows how much you care on like giving back, because Red has given you so much. But at the same time, he's involved in Student Ambassador Society, and he's in leadership orgs for plenty of other ones, and even started his own being a fraternity at WSU, which is, I don't think you guys understand how hard it is to start an organization on campus, especially when it's like a nationally recognized one and then you're trying to get a chapter on campus. The like hoops that you have to jump through and the amount of work, and it was like you, Vititas, Jose, like you guys like tried super hard to do this thing because you guys had like this like vision, and I'm like super proud that like you went through and did all that, because now like I think it's super sick that you're able to be like, oh yeah, I started that
Yeah.
fraternity, when you come back in, I don't know, 10 years. And it's just like one of those things, like if you want to talk about like that and through that and everything.
Yeah. I remember because I didn't know I wanted to get into that kind of thing, and so it wasn't until my spring semester, you start to see what you really enjoy, what you really don't enjoy, and the opportunity came up to help found the organization. So that's when I really had that moment of, I've talked with Gary of, hey, I want to have an impact on campus. I want to be a strong leader, and this opportunity comes up. So I decide that I have to take it because this is literally what I've been asking for and planning on taking on. But it was just interesting to experience just because I couldn't tell Gary about it. It was a underground process,
Yeah.
so it was exciting, but also very challenging at the same time because we were juggling both a lot of different things. So it was I think we really gotten stronger through that because we've seen each other, at our lowest lows, being the busiest that we can be, being very stressful. And that's where that mentorship comes on because I know he's gone through it. So him telling me, hey, keep working, keep trying, you're gonna get it.
And I'm proud of
It
you.
it it, it definitely is that extra fuel that you need. And I really appreciated that he saw my potential and said, hey, this is my vision, but you're more than welcome to create your own vision and definitely do it your own way because one of my first memories too was you created my 4-year degree plan
Hmm.
and you had created 4 different options. It was
Yeah.
Rachel chill track. It was it
Probably
got
like a different one with like a slightly different minor, or like
yes,
maybe
and then
like
this is, hey, this is the track where you want to get a minor, finish your major, do your honors minor, and he pointed out very clear what I needed to do. And
Mhm.
I really found that helpful because in the bottom he wrote, hey, like I know you could do this and you could achieve much more. But I think what I liked about it was, having him as my mentor. He's done all this kind of things, all this kind of stuff, achieved all these achievements. And so that's when I started to think about myself like, okay, I actually want to enjoy college. I want to have a great time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also want to take on the hard coursework of being an engineering student.
Hmm.
So that's when I decided, okay, I think I'm going to take the very chill track
Hmm.
and still do the other things that I'm doing, but not push myself hard so academically to the point where like it's a detriment to my health because I didn't want to be that kind of person. I know some people like you,
Yeah.
Gary, you do it to yourself, and I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But
I think that's like a big thing, like taking off more than you can chew, especially like being a freshman. And because I had been in that spot, especially freshman year, I'm like, we had like that, not career fair, but like the student org fair. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to join like 9 different organizations. But slowly I realized that, okay, one, I'm not super committed to half of these. And then two, I don't have the time to do this. And I need to figure out what I enjoy, whether that's studying, or it's time with friends, or it's focusing on like the various different hobbies, right? And that's something that it took me until probably like end of sophomore, early junior year to really like realize like, okay, yes, I wanted a 4.0, and graduate with a 4.0 in engineering, but what is that going to sacrifice for me, right? So I've like obviously dialed it back, maybe dialed it back too much, but that's something that I wanted to like let Israel know is like, hey, it's okay to enjoy college. We've
yeah,
done so much in high school to get to where we are now. Doesn't just like say that, oh, we can't do anything, we can be lazy and do all that, but it's more about like that balance of just being able to focus on like your health, right? Like you said, and then like also like prioritizing like the memories in college. I know that sounds like a little corny, but like, this is the only time you ever get the chance to experience college, like at this age and everything like that. So I was really happy to see that he chose that like more relaxed track. Thing is, I don't even think he chose the more relaxed track in the engineering coursework, but then you hear about all the things like he's doing, like creating his own fraternity chapter on campus, and then also like focusing on internships. Like you guys don't know, Israel almost works like 40 hours a week at Textron, and like throughout the school year. So he's an absolute workhorse. So he knows how to work. And then also like with his internship, like I was so proud of him when he told me that he got like GE Aerospace, because obviously I guess it's like you don't know this unless you're in engineering, but like they're a pretty high up company. It's like if you're computer science and you got an offer at like Apple or Google, it's like really up there with like the rest of the other companies. And I was just so proud that he was able to get that like his very first summer, because that was something that like I was very proud that I was able to do. And just seeing him even take it like a step
Yeah.
above, and just like, and also like seeing him like enjoy the different aspects, and also still giving back as a Rudd scholar, and also starting the fraternity, right? So there was like so many things. I was like so glad that you chose the more relaxed, even though it's not more relaxed, just the academic side.
Yeah.
You chose to dial back the academic side so you can pour into these like different buckets of your life. That I was like, yeah, I'm glad that I was able to see you like choose that and be like, oh yeah, nice. He doesn't have to like go through the freshman sophomore year where you're just like absolutely burnt out and not wanting to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I think another thing I remember too is like during my freshman year, one of the biggest challenges that I faced was feeling like everything that I was doing wasn't enough. Like I felt like I was limiting myself. I thought, what I was doing wasn't impressive, that I should keep shooting higher and higher, because one of the memories I have too is the welcome bash. And I was already thinking about internships because I was already going to a new internship with Textron, a college internship, and I was just like, man, like I feel like I'm being comfortable. And so it that was another thing, another good moment where you just brought me down to the ground because you knew like we both are ambitious people.
yeah.
And what was your perspective on that situation?
Well, I think just being like younger too is like when I came in as a freshman, I never knew when it was going to be enough, right? To continually do these things and like take a milestone above and keep like going up and up and up. And it's like, okay, when is it going to be enough? At
Mm-hmm.
some point, am I going to realize it's enough, or is it never going to be enough? And I think that's something that I was like, I think you need to understand the perspective. Like, yes, from where you're at, sure, you can think you're complacent or whatever. But when you're comparing yourself to your peers and everyone like that, you're miles ahead of them when it comes to um, career trajectory and everything like that. So that's when I wanted to like remind you of like, hey, if you're comparing yourself to others that are much older than you, that's a little unfair, right? But if you're looking at yourself and your peers, and one, you guys shouldn't compare yourselves, because it's the comparison is the joy of
Of
the
joy.
thief of happiness.
Of
Is that
joy.
of joy?
Yes.
Okay, see, he knows the quote. Um,
I know it very well.
yeah. So that's like another thing that I was like, yeah, like it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay
That was
to
the biggest thing that I needed to hear, is just like enjoy the process. Like college is gonna fly by so fast, and if
mhm,
you're just worried about the future, you're gonna look back and feel like you really didn't make the most out of your college experience. So yes, it's good to go up and up, challenge yourself, but take breaks and appreciate, all the work that you're putting in. I think it's very difficult to maintain and balance. Like that's the hardest part. It's very easy to, get to a mountain, but it's really hard just to stay on it.
mhm.
So I think that was helpful to me.
Yeah. So now, if you had to give advice to your mentees, or maybe
Mm,
even mentees listening to this, or maybe you're doing research on the Rudd Foundation and you stumbled across this and you're curious about what it's like to have a mentor in the foundation, what is something that you want them to know, whether it's a piece of advice, a statement, a quote?
I
Put you on
mean,
the spot. So,
yeah, you're putting me on the spot. But I would just say like once you do get assigned your mentor, it's a very special relationship that you don't get with any other person. Like it definitely feels like they're your older brother and they're
mm,
help guiding you through it. Because I know you brought up like maybe we get messed up on our a major or personality, but they end up becoming your brother, and it definitely becomes a different kind of relationship when you get into it.
Hmm.
But I would say to anyone that's gonna get a mentor or get a mentor, like be very excited because that mentor is gonna be more than happy to pour anything into you because they're there to make sure that you have more than what you need to not only reach your dreams but dream bigger. I
Hmm.
think that's something it's very unique. It's pushed me a lot harder, and that's something that I try to push on my mentees as well. As you have these dreams, how can I, as your mentor, add more fuel so you can finish strong?
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this mentorship program special.
Yeah.
Oh, what would you say?
Yeah. Well, I think one, um, I think you have to pour into the relationship for it to get to that point of like, oh yeah, like this is special because I think we've poured both enough effort and it's reciprocal. So it needs to be both sides. It can't just be the mentor pouring into it and mentee because there are definitely like my friends in the foundation, like yeah, their relationships are a little like that, but it is special when both of them are so open to it and want to pour into each other and they're like oh yeah like then that's when I think it like truly becomes like something special and like honestly I'm planning on going to medical school and not anything in engineering, but even if Israel texted me his junior or senior year and I'm in medical school and had something engineering related or career related, I would love and I would always love to help and whatever like he said like what are your dreams, what are your goals, and how can I help you get there. I think that's like what mentors need to kind of make sure they understand is it's not your best interest. You're using your resources, your knowledge, your experiences to help guide them to their dreams, goals, right? It's not, oh, I did this. This is probably the best way. You don't know if it's the best way, right? You've experienced it one time. You're just giving your opinion, your advice to help them. And from a mentee perspective, I think you also need to take their advice with a grain of salt.
Hmm.
Um, don't judge them too much because one, they're your peer, right? They're also figuring this stuff out too. They might be a year or two older than you, but they don't know everything, right? And they could be potentially wrong as well. And that's when like you need to also do your own work to understand like, okay, this is the bit that I need to take away from that. I don't know if I agree with that because maybe I have a different perspective on a situation. I think me and Israel like got a little lucky because our perspective on careers, academics, social life are very, very, very similar. So it's easy for me to give him, like raw, unfiltered advice and him and for it to be like really helpful for him because he's like, oh, okay, yeah. But maybe for some other people, maybe are a little bit more focused academically and I'm giving them this advice and they're like, well, I would like to graduate with a 4.0 or whatever. And I'm like, oh no, chill out. And it's like, well, that means I'm not being adaptive to what your goals are, right?
Hmm.
So I think as like a mentee, just be able to like take that advice with a grain of salt. But those are my pieces of advice. Do you have any other closing remarks about our relationship? Kind of what Rudd has done for us as like mentee, mentor, or just in general? I think the foundation is great, guys. I think if you're listening to this as a finalist or you're writing your essays to submit, um, you're probably going to be a good Rudd Scholar just because you're putting in that work to figure out and know about the foundation and stuff. So,
Yeah, I just hope that they get excited, like listening to this conversation. Like I hope they can feel the energy
mhm,
between us and like they like work and pour everything that they can into their application
mhm,
so that they can, achieve this because it's so impactful, it's so meaningful what Rudd has given us. It's definitely been my biggest gift I've ever gotten in my life, and
yeah,
I think I hope you guys can achieve that as well. And I'm very excited for you guys to continue pushing, continue working hard, staying dedicated. Don't give up, even if just make sure that you give it your best and be happy with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do the things without them helping me, like financially and just like emotionally with all the support and everything. So they've definitely been the greatest gift
Yeah.
I've ever received too. But thanks for listening to us yap for a little over 30 minutes now. So I hope you guys took away something.
Yeah, apply to the Rudd Foundation Scholarship. The deadline is the end of this month. Please get it in. Shoot your shot.
Yeah, actually,
Please.
shoot your shot. I didn't.
You
think
miss
I'd get
100% of the shots you don't take. It's so worth it. And if you need any help, then you can feel free to reach out to any of us.
Yeah,
including me and Gary. We're more than willing to.
Yeah, if you find me, my full name is Gary Tran. So if you find me on the thing and message me on LinkedIn or something like that, I'd love to help. And
yeah, you can contact me as well on LinkedIn. Just look up Israel Tourism. You'll find me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys.
Yep, see ya.